Good morning, friends, seniors, juniors. I hope all of you are having a good time, and also I hope you all are enjoying. Here I'm back, and today's topic will be about ethics and human resource management. It's an exciting topic. There's much to talk about in such unsettled times. So let's begin. The concept has been a topic of discussion for many years, and it still continues among philosophers, sociologists, economists, accountants, psychologists, physicians, intellectuals, philosophers, and so on. All these professional people, all these people that I've just mentioned above, continue the discussion on ethics. It has been going on and still will be going on for quite some time. And but I have to say, the world seems to have lost its way. In this messy state of affairs in the world, yes, ethics has to come to the forefront of human mankind to salvage human mankind and also the planet. We are living in a world of pluralistic worldviews, and this also, to some extent, ethics even further by worldview, by pluralistic worldviews. I mean, I'm talking about governance. For example, communism, socialism, capitalism, Islamic socialism, Sharia law, all these issues and etc. are all issues related to ethics. And these are what I call different worldviews. So, what is ethics? Ethics is a specific branch of knowledge that examines what is right and what is wrong to provide guidance to human behavior and investigates, analyzes, and examines moral issues and provides justification for people to accept and apply ethical standards in all types of human conduct. In fact, briefly speaking, ethics is about what is right and what is wrong. The role of ethics is to rationalize morality that leads to an ethical theory that is applicable in the business world. The key issue is, how should people behave? I have to admit that the world has a very good amount of goodness in it. This is the bright side. Thing. So the issue is ethics, which is about right and wrong, and ethics provides the justification. And ethics basically about human conduct or human behavior within an organization, because I'm talking about ethics and human resource management. Yes, one can ask me, what is the relationship between ethics and human resource management? I see human resource management professionals as the custodian of ethics of an enterprise, we are directly or indirectly bestowed with the responsibility to not only uphold ethics, but to give ethical advice to the top management related to employee relations, employee development, employee resourcing, only if the top management listens to us. Obviously, HRM professionals are not solely responsible, but we have to take the lead role because of our advanced knowledge in this subject. And the name itself, human resource management, is about or suggests or implies that we deal with the conduct of human behavior within an organization. And when I talk about human behavior, I have to talk about ethics, what is right and what is wrong. And as I understand, advanced knowledge related to ethics can add value to human resource management. Remember, my friends, one unethical behavior is enough to bury an organization. Simple as that. This subject cannot be ignored. When I say unethical behavior, I'm talking about different companies. Take, for example, BCCI, Lehman Brothers, all these companies, Barings Bank, one of the oldest English banks, which was found in 1782 and had to collapse or collapsed in 1995, and it suffered a loss of $5.87 million. Due to it, the bank, Barings Bank, collapsed due to fraudulent transactions led by a person called Nick Lesser. So, what I'm saying is, one person or one non ethical practice is enough to bury an organization. And as I've said, I've given the example of Barings Bank. We can study ethics from four different angles. Take, for example, descriptive, normative, meta ethics, and applied ethics. Descriptive ethics is about what do people think is right. The question is, what do people think is right? And the most important word is is. Here, research, empirical evidence, empirical research goes on to understand the nature of reality at the present moment. The next is normative. How should people act? The question is how. What makes an action right or wrong? Spending money when you can see a child is starving. Does it make sense or not? Ask yourselves. I'm having a big burger. Besides me, a young child is starving. It doesn't make sense. All these are normative ethics. How should we behave? That's the key issue. Then let's talk about meta ethics. It's about discussing certain key concepts Take, for example, responsibility, duty, obligation, guilty, war, killing, punishment, abortion, all these are meta ethics where the words or the terms are examined. Then I talk about applied ethics. Here, the teachings of ethics are applied to different disciplines. For example, medicine, law, accountancy, politics, market, economics, and even government, even even government activities, where actually the teachings of ethics is applied. So there are four types of ethics: descriptive ethics, normative ethics, meta ethics, and applied ethics. Descriptive, descriptive ethics is about the facts or the factuality. It investigates the reality. Normative ethics is about what ought to be, what should be, how should we behave. Meta ethics examines terms or concepts, and applied ethics is when the teaching of ethics is applied. There can be basically ethics can be basically divided into two parts: consequential ethics, which is called teleological ethics, and the second one is non-consequential, which is deontological ethics. Let's start with the first one, consequential ethics. Teleological ethics, which is about results or outcome. The common saying is applied here: ends justify means. There's a spelling mistake, my friends. W-H-I-C-H. Okay, an action, forget about it, my apologies. An action is considered right only if the results are right. That is, the result or outcome will determine whether something is ethical or something is not ethical. There are two types of consequential ethics: egoism or egoism, and utilitarianism. Egoism means about self. An action is right if it serves self-interest. It is a very much individualistic in nature. Such believers believe that self-interest must be maximized. Individual desires come first. It may be selfish, but that's the reality. Another type of thinking is about utilitarianism, which is about happiness to the greatest amount of people. If the majority are happy, then the decision seems to be right. The largest number of people should benefit. Then only the decision is ethical. John Stuart Mill, an outstanding English philosopher, advocated such type of ethics. On the other hand, egoism type of ethics was supported by Adam Smith, the author of the famous and outstanding book, wealth of nations. Those who subscribe to utilitarianism of ethics believe one should try to develop the capacity to predict the consequences to some extent of an action. But remember, the greatest number of people should benefit. The end result will determine whether an action was ethical or not. I repeat, the result will determine, the result or the outcome will determine whether an action is right or whether an action is wrong. Now, non-consequential ethics, where consequence is not that significant. What is significant is the process. Ethics, or this is also called deontological ethics, where an action is ethically correct if the actions conform to rights, duties, contracts, and justice. Here, the outcome is not the issue. The process is the issue. From the deontological perspective, intrinsic goodness of an action will determine the rightness or wrongness of something. I repeat, the intrinsic goodness of some action will determine whether the action is ethical or not the result. Those who believe in such type of ethics do not take promise or commitment lightly. All these are duties. This is about non-consequential ethics, where ethics is secondary. Most important is the process of how I'm reaching the results. That is more important than the result itself. Immanuel Kant, an outstanding English philosopher, believed that if the actions comply to the command, the action is right. The command must be associated with goodness. Then we talk about ethics related to right, advocated by John Locke and John Rawls, where these scholars have discussed about human dignity which determines an action. And this is the very non-consequential type of ethics. Ethics related to right is about dignity of human mankind. And deontologists take into consideration the least advantaged people, not the majority. Theory of right suggests that the ethics about maintaining the rights of people, these rights are fundamental rights of human beings that need to be respected. For example, the right to privacy, the right to free speech, right to free consent. Again, rights can be divided into two parts, negative and positive. Negative rights are those which is authorized by the state or community or society and is imposed. Positive rights is related to some benefit of some type. The learning point is one may enjoy certain rights but must not infringe on the others' rights, on the rights of others. What is the right thing to do? The types of ethics I've discussed previously and I'm going to further discuss. Now, I'll be talking about ethics. Another type of ethics is is about ethics of care by Gillingham. Gillingham in 1992. Gillingham and Dillon in 1992 rejected from their perspective the male dominated ethics and brought into ethics and few concepts like sympathy, compassion, loyalty, empathy, and love. Very astonishing, very interesting. They brought concepts into ethics: compassion, sympathy, loyalty, love, etc. And they've termed this the ethics of care. Then comes the virtue ethics, where a person's character comes to the forefront, or certain features of a character of a person comes to the forefront. For example, courage, correctness, dedication, honesty, truthfulness, boldness, truthfulness, virtue ethics. Another type of ethics is value-based ethics, where value is the lifestyle priority one values most. To me, value is something one may not know that simply. It seems to be hidden somewhere, yet at times it is revealed and on values. To take for example, why am I spending so much time in this channel? The simple reason is I like to learn. I like to learn and spread my limited knowledge among my friends. I have a passion for learning. That's why I'm here. No other reason. I could have easily spent my time somewhere else, but I'm here. I'm studying about the topic. I'm giving my lecture. I'm trying to share my limited knowledge of something. And today's topic is ethics. Value-based ethics at times may act as a motivator. Yes, I'm motivated to spread this knowledge through YouTube. It's a platform. It's quite new to me, but I'm enjoying every moment because I love learning. Value means importance or priority. In the business context, what could be the key values? Justice, trust, responsibility, emotion, rationality, respect for all, learning all the time, and so on. But most important is which I think, to me, value based ethics is about respect, humbleness, tolerance, and patience. That's my respect, humbleness, tolerance, and patience, and so on. There can be four types of ethics. There can be four types of value based ethics: intrinsic values, extrinsic values, core values, and non core values. Intrinsic values are values directly, they are direct. For example, happiness, a sense of independence are direct. Again, instrumental values are not direct, are indirect. For example, money. Money itself does not create any value. If it is spent for the goodness of something, it creates value. Remember, money, if spent for the goodness of something, it creates a value. That's what I call instrumental value, which is something indirect. Again, core values carries which will not be compromised. For example, in my case, I will not compromise with the value respect. I will not compromise with the concept of humbleness. I like to be humble. I'm nothing much. I like to be humble. I will not I will also not compromise with non-learning. I like to learn every day whenever I get an opportunity from my friends and from everybody. Why stop? Again, last but not least, another scholar named Robert Du George in 1986 came up with two types of ethics: ethical absolutism and ethical relativism. Ethical absolutism is about universal ethics, which is eternal, and ethical relativism depends on the context. And the saying says it all: when in Rome, do as Romans do. Here, the learning point is ethics is dependent on the situation or concept. But again, certain type of ethics remain the same. To conclude, business ethics must be derived from the general ethics. I have discussed most companies have their own code of ethics or should develop their own code of ethics, which must be articulated and communicated to all the members of the organization. After all, I hope and pray the top management pays attention to this very concept, ethics. Times are rough and times are tough. People are no longer that ignorant. We can see active media everywhere. We can see people using the latest technologies. We have to be very, very careful. And now, my friends, practitioners, seniors, juniors, please think about this subject ethics, whether it makes sense or not. According to, from my perspective, it is it is a very, very significant concept. And have a pleasant day. See you all. Stay calm. Enjoy the World Cup and be focused and try to promote this concept, ethics. Goodbye, my friends. Stay well. Bye bye.